Hi, and welcome to another episode of Classic Books. Right, so Shakespeare's Henry V. This may come as a surprise. It's about this lad called Henry, and he's just inherited the English throne. He immediately decides it's time to pick a fight with the neighbours and makes plans for conquering France. Classic overachiever. The play kicks off with the Archbishop of Canterbury, who's supposed to be all holy and whatnot, but he's more like a dodgy accountant. He's trying to distract Henry from taxing the church, so he starts hyping him up about his claim to the French crown. "You're totally the King of France, mate," he says, and Henry, barely needing a nudge, is like, "All right, let's have it." But before we get to the war, there's some scheming back home. A couple of traitors, Scroop, Cambridge, and Grey, get caught plotting against Henry. They're probably thinking they'll get off with a slap on the wrist. Nope. Henry goes full Bond villain, reveals he knows everything, and then, bam, execution. It's one of those moments where you think, yeah, don't mess with this guy. So, Henry sends a cheeky little message to the French king, Charles VI, demanding the crown. The French, being the French, send back this box of tennis balls. It's meant to be an insult like, stick to your games, mate. But Henry? Oh no, he's fuming. He basically says, right, you're going to regret that. He gathers his troops and sets sail across the channel. Now, let's talk about Henry's mates. There's a bit of the lads on tour vibe with the likes of Pistol, Bardolph, and Nym. These blokes are more about pinching wallets and downing pints than fighting for glory. Meanwhile, there's a subplot about this Welsh captain, Fluellen, who's like the history teacher that never shuts up. He's constantly going on about discipline and military strategy. Good bloke, but you wouldn't want to sit next to him at a party. So Henry and his army are stomping around France, taking towns and giving speeches. Oh, the speeches! The guy loves a monologue. He's like a motivational speaker who's been handed a sword. The most famous one is before the Battle of Agincourt. It's all, we few, we happy few, we band of brothers. Proper stirring stuff. If Twitter had existed, that speech would have gone viral. But before Agincourt, the English army's in a bit of a state. They're knackered, outnumbered, and covered in mud. Henry decides to walk around the camp in disguise, chatting with the troops like he's doing undercover boss. He finds out they're not exactly thrilled about dying for his glory. Fair enough, really. But instead of sulking, he gives that massive speech the next day, and somehow it works. The lads are pumped. Then there's the battle itself. Absolute chaos. The French knights are all dressed up, ready to win easily, but they don't count on the English longbows. Turns out a bunch of muddy blokes with sticks can take down fancy knights any day. It's a proper underdog story. By the end, Henry's won the battle, and the French are left wondering what on earth just happened. Now, you'd think Henry would head home for a pint and a nap after all that. Nope, he decides to stick around and negotiate a peace treaty. And this is where things get a bit awkward. Henry starts wooing the French princess, Catherine. It's like watching your mate try to chat someone up after 5 beers. He's stumbling through his French, cracking bad jokes, and she's just sitting there, politely smiling. But somehow, it works. They get engaged, and the treaty is signed. England and France are mates. For now. The play ends with everyone pretending this alliance will last forever. But Shakespeare, being Shakespeare, reminds us that Henry's son, Henry VI, is going to mess it all up. Classic cliffhanger. There you go. A king who's half motivational speaker, half lad on tour, takes on France, wins, and bags a princess. It's like a historical action film with a bit of banter thrown in. Shakespeare knew how to keep it entertaining, didn't he? And finally, remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.